Once the most infamous name in the leaked music community, King Bob's reign has finally come to an abrupt end, as 19-year-old Noah Michael Urban now faces up to 170 years in federal prison.
Urban would also leak unreleased music and went by several aliases. The most common he used was being called King Bob.
Using a scamming technique known as SIM swaps, as we're about to see, not only was King Bob able to build the most legendary unreleased vault with, as he claims, over 2,000 stolen grails from our favorite artists, including Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi Vert, Juice WRLD, and Ariana Grande, just to name a few, but then he decided to take it a step further, ultimately leading to his arrest. However, as King Bob now stares down life in prison, his legendary vault of unreleased grails may also be gone forever. Although 19-year-old Palm Coast, Florida resident Noah Urban is better known to the world as his self-dubbed alias, King Bob, the leaked community instead refers to him as, quote, the most annoying and obnoxious leaker on the internet. Nothing any of you kids say is going to change the fact that I'm rich and I have most of your grails. King Bob posted on Discord, which would soon come back to haunt him, besides what used to be his constant bragging and flexing on social media prior to getting locked up, including this picture of his iced out Rolex. Despite being one of the most well-known leakers, according to King Bob though, he never actually sold any of the leaked songs himself.
I'm not a leaker, let's be clear.
So you're just an unreleased holder?
Yes, that's a term for a collector.
After illegally stealing these songs from artists through methods we'll see in a second, what King Bob would do is just keep them for himself. As he called it, more of a collector than a leaker, while of course always having to flex that he had these grails and rub it in fans' faces. On the very rare occasion King Bob would actually sell the songs himself, he'd spike the prices way up, with some going for as much as $30K for a single track. Instead, most commonly what we'd see happen was King Bob would only post a short snippet of one of these unreleased songs, teasing fans that he had it and we didn't, while also spamming his annoying minions tag all over it. As for his reasoning behind keeping the tracks for himself, for me the song loses its quality if other people can hear it. Clearly Noah Urban is a white male, and unfortunately this is just one of the many instances where he's used the N-word on social media. All of this considered, it's pretty easy to understand why fans were happy to hear the news of King Bob's arrest on January 9th, 2024. But before we take a look at exactly how King Bob was able to build the most sought-after vault of unreleased music, going on to buy iced-out Rolexes before then throwing his entire life away at age 19, first I gotta tell you about this fun game I've been playing. Winter is the best time to cozy up at home with a mobile game you can really immerse yourself in, and I think I found that perfect game. This hit mobile hero collection RPG played by over 80 million players around the world is not only completely free to play, but also includes over 800 unique champions to collect and customize before taking on bosses on the battlefield. The graphics are honestly really good, with console quality details right on your mobile device. Be sure to hit the link in the description or scan this QR code on screen to download Raid Shadow Legends today. Lucky for you guys, Raid is here with a massive promo to help you get a head start in the game. Available exclusively by clicking my link, not only will you receive Lightsworn, an epic champion from the Sacred Order, but then you'll also get Epic Juliana after reaching level 15. In addition to these great bonuses though, new players can also add another epic champion by entering one of the following promo codes. Get Oboro for epic champion Oboro, Raid for Kellan the Shrike, or Raid for Mord for one of my favorites, epic champion Mordecai. Plus this final code, Iloveraid, is now available for all users and gives you rare champion preserver to add to your roster. Redeeming these promo codes is easy, just simply tap on the tab on the left side of your screen and then select the promo codes option. If you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, then what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get 2 epic champions as well as a 3rd for new users using the promo code of your choice. Once you're in and crushing enemies, come find me under the username 1111 with 3 N's. You can then join my clan and I'll catch you guys on the battlefield. While it's not the only way unreleased music gets out, here in 2024 the #1 biggest way songs leak is through a technique known as SIM swaps, which to no surprise is, according to his indictment, the method that King Bob used when hacking. Although no simple task, the process of leaking music can be extremely rewarding. When it comes to SIM swaps, the first thing these hackers do is begin gathering as much personal information about you as possible, whether from social media pages or the dark web, allowing them to learn facts like your birthday or mother's maiden name, for example, which are common security questions they might be asked. The scammer will then call your phone's mobile carrier and pretend that they are you, claiming you either lost your phone's SIM card or damaged it and need a new one. For those who don't know, a SIM card is this tiny memory chip that must be inserted into a smartphone for it to work. So then, using some very persuasive skills, hackers are able to convince the customer service rep to activate a new SIM card, which is one now in possession of the hackers. Thus, they are now in full control of your phone and everything on it.
The bottom line is that if I can convince the customer service rep on the phone that I am you, they'll switch the phone number over to my phone. Or maybe I pay an insider to make the switch for me. The weakest link in this whole whole chain is the customer service rep, and since they're usually not highly trained nor well paid, they're an easy target.
Two-factor verification forces most accounts to send a text message to your phone number, which you must enter to gain access. The problem is they send that code to the phone now owned by the scammer. Once into all your accounts, these hackers such as King Bob are then able to access your files and send them to their own computer. These leaks are happening from SIM swaps, one of the hottest producers in the game, Benny X explains. People are paying employees who work at phone stores to log into your account and switch service from your SIM card to another phone. All they need is your phone number to do this. But since rappers aren't exactly the most organized humans and aren't always careful who they send their unreleased songs to, a lot of times you'll see these hackers target the accounts of rappers' friends and people in their camps, such as Lil Uzi Vert's best friend Rock, who was a victim of a SIM swap last year, leading to a massive leak of unreleased Uzi songs he had saved on his phone. Don't call or text none of my phones. Dudes hacked my phone, iCloud, and Instagram on some SIM swap shit. As one of the most leaked artists who's dealt with hackers his entire career, including multiple battles against King Bob himself, as we've seen from the past, understandably so, Lil Uzi Vert despises leakers.
Stand up. Skinny ass nigga, sit down. F is wrong with you? F hacking on my shit.
They will simply call your cell phone provider and say, hey, I lost my SIM card. I just got another one, can you transfer my number over to this phone? Former Juice WRLD producer Waves tells Billboard. From there, they just look through your email. Sometimes they'll even find full Pro Tools recording sessions and they'll sell those.
Off of these drugs, I feel wasted. Hey, look at all the time I wasted. And that's the hook right there, I ain't gonna lie.
However, while it is really interesting to hear how these classic songs came together in real time, as an artist, nobody likes when their work is stolen. Not only have we seen leaked songs delay countless rollouts and releases these past few years, many to the point where they were totally scrapped, but from an artist's point of view, a project they'd been working on for months releases without their control and they don't make a single penny off of it. This is so disheartening, said Ariana Grande after one of her songs leaked, possibly by King Bob himself. I was going to come back and use this hook eventually. I don't know how people are still doing this, but please stop. As much as fans enjoy hearing new music from their favorite artists, you honestly can't blame them for being mad and hating leaks.
It's bad enough these stupid kids leak music because no one can wait anymore and they steal and invade privacy and sell it and do group buys. I hate that shit. So all you kids that do that shit, I don't respect you and genuinely hate you, and I'm taking legal action.
What Tyler the Creator's talking about there are what's known in the leaked music world as group buys. But while King Bob again claims that he's never sold a single unreleased song, as the scammer and troll he is, that isn't exactly the truth. Here in 2024, the #1 way leaked music is sold is through group buys on Discord. Basically, a leaker will post a song with a set price, which is at least usually a couple $1,000s depending on the artist and song, and then fans will all chip in until that price is reached. They raise the money and the leaker sends them the track, giving listeners that feeling of exclusivity by being one of the select people in the world who have that song. Honestly, the leaked music industry is insane. Not only will you see Lil Uzi Vert, Playboi Carti, or Kanye leaks sell for a quick 20k group buy like it's nothing, but as of today, the Juice WRLD community alone has now spent over $1 million purchasing his leaks on Discord.
The prices, it's not about their relativity to like how big they are. It's literally just about like full following, which is why Carti goes for the most and Juice goes for the most.
Eventually though, the roles reverse and one of the buyers will decide that they want to sell the track off for some easy cash. They throw it up on Discord and the bids start flowing in. Thus the cycle repeats and the song keeps spreading.
They work hand in hand together to make selling unreleased music extremely easy.
You growing up, right? If you had the opportunity and the money to pay for a leak, like could you see yourself doing that?
I think I would. It wasn't a thing in my time, but I think I would.
With 17-year-old kids out here making six figures simply by leaking and selling music, clearly there is money to be made in the leaked industry. However, according to King Bob, he claims that he's never sold a song through group buys.
I just don't sell anything. I've literally never sold a song. Like, that's not even a troll. Like, I don't sell the songs.
While it is true you would never see a group buy posted by King Bob, that is definitely not to say he wasn't involved. Although again, he was infamous for gatekeeping grails and just holding most of them for himself, saying that he didn't need the money due to other scams he was pulling that we'll see in a second. Many claim though that King Bob has sold a handful of his leaks under different names, as we've also since learned from his indictment that Noah Urban went by other online aliases too, such as Sosa, Elijah, and Anthony Ramirez. On the rare occasion King Bob would decide to sell a leak, not only would he spike the price way up to the ceiling, but then he would also only do private buys to who he thought were just other rich fans.
If you have like a rich ass person who just also wants a song and you're the only one with the supply, you can make the prices. You can like literally control them.
A year ago in 2023, King Bob agreed to sell 3 unreleased Playboi Carti grails to a very wealthy member of the Carti community named Hells, with the highest track being Money and Drugs rumored to have sold for a crazy $30,000, along with Friends and another fan favorite Carti track, 24 Songs. After purchasing these leaks from King Bob, Hells decided to leak them for free on the internet for fans. My goal was to release what I wanted to hear to the public. Hells posted much to fans' delight while also taking a shot at King Bob, since gatekeeping makes no sense. But besides these few private buys, it's also safe to assume that King Bob was working closely with Waterfalls, a very popular seller in the leaked community who you've probably heard his obnoxious tag before too.
Waterfalls. Waterfalls. Waterfalls.
Known for selling leaks from the biggest artists such as Kanye West, Playboi Carti, and Lil Uzi Vert, although for legal reasons King Bob denied knowing who Waterfalls was on this call with Bobalam a few months ago. From what it sounded like, King Bob was one of Waterfalls' main suppliers.
Waterfalls sells the songs, not me. Let's be clear on that.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, okay. Wink, wink.
I don't know who Waterfalls is, but if I did know him, he would be the one selling the song. Just theoretically.
Okay.
Clearly, King Bob was working behind the scenes as the SIM swap master he was, prying out some of the biggest leaked grails of the last decade. However, while stealing music is definitely very illegal, and I definitely do not condone it, in hindsight it's a small crime compared to what finally got King Bob arrested. Indicted on a total of 14 counts, believe it or not one of King Bob's charges was for leaking music. Noah Michael Urban was arrested on January 9th, 2024 after he allegedly stole at least $800,000 in a massive cryptocurrency theft. According to the indictment, Urban and other conspirators unlawfully obtained victims' personal identifying information and used it to fraudulently access their virtual currency addresses. Using a SIM swap, the conspirators reset the victims' passwords and verified ownership of their cell phone numbers by one-time passwords. Once they accessed the victims' phone, they basically super illegally transferred crypto over to their own accounts.
Urban's charges include 8 counts of wire fraud, 1 count for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and 5 counts of aggravated identity theft.
Although he would plead not guilty to all 14 charges, it's not looking very good for King Bob. Following a detention hearing in January, a federal judge ordered Noah Urban to remain in custody as he awaits his upcoming trial in March, citing these numerous reasons for keeping him locked up. First, the judge stated that King Bob was a big risk to flee the country as he had no fixed address and was using an alias to stay at an Airbnb. Urban also told authorities that he could not remember if he had traveled outside of the United States, and at least some of his co-conspirators are in foreign countries. But it didn't stop there, as King Bob also declined to answer detailed questions about his financial situation, as authorities noted that while he's never been employed, he appeared very self-supporting, especially after posting pictures of his iced out Rolex on Twitter. The judge also noted that not only will King Bob be subject to a very long incarceration if convicted, but also that the weight of evidence against him was strong. As we can see from his 9 wire fraud charges, on November 2nd, 2022, for example, King Bob transferred almost $300,000 worth of Ethereum over to his own crypto account. February 16th, 2023, another almost $400K from one of his 5 victims. Then combined with another 5 counts of aggravated identity theft, which is basically identity theft alongside the act of a felony, King Bob currently faces up to 20 years in federal prison for each convicted wire fraud, plus a minimum mandatory penalty of 2 years for the aggravated identity theft charges.
He faces up to 20 years in federal prison on each. Oh my God. I thought it was just 20 years total. He faces up to 20 years in federal prison on each wire fraud charge.
But as we wait to hear King Bob's exact prison sentence, amidst rumors that his family had disowned him and he was forced to use a government-funded lawyer to fight his case, his dad right here would actually chime in with some context on Reddit. I hate everything about this, his actions, the choice of language, etc. But I promise you there's nothing that my son could ever do that I would disown him. Seems like he has a tough road ahead of him, and hopefully he will understand the value of freedom is more important than any material object or perceived notoriety. He lived on his own and I saw him occasionally, but I was unaware of anything negative until I got a call from the FBI that they were about to raid his house. I was unaware of any of this music stuff until I got a collect call from the prison and googled the aliases. As far as the federal public defender, simply a matter of money. Just to put an attorney on retainer, $125,000 was the lowest I talked with, and I couldn't afford that. My son is off the charts brilliant, but still a 19-year-old kid. Free Thug, of course, and honestly, now that I find it in my heart, free King Bob, the hacker who had been leaking songs I produced for years. Producer Digital Nas posted after hearing about the news of the arrest. I was always so bitter with him because he was messing my money up, but now that I think about it, I forgive you, Bob. Pray you learn your lesson and next time just wait for the good music to come out. While yes, Noah Urban is just a 19-year-old kid with plenty of time to learn from his mistakes, that definitely hasn't stopped the majority of fans from celebrating his arrest.
New op pack in the air, this gas or what?
Despite Noah Urban being the genius hacker he was, it was honestly stupid of him to build up this online King Bob character and draw attention to himself doing illegal crimes. While it makes sense after we saw how much he loved the clout on multiple occasions, simply just using apps like Discord and Twitter though all attached to this same alias was not smart, especially when you then go on to steal $1 million from 5 victims. But while fans continue smoking that King Bob pack, there also remains concern over what happened to his legendary vault of unreleased leaks. According to authorities, when the search warrant was issued at Urban's residence, he was in the process of downloading programs to delete his computer files. If by the very small chance that King Bob's computer and hard drives weren't already deleted forever, as one fan puts it, the feds got all the grails. However, just like his prison sentence, I suppose we'll have to wait and see what happens next. Once the most notable name in the leaked music community, I think it's safe to say that we will not be hearing from King Bob for a very long time. And again, don't forget to check out my Raid Shadow Legends link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane free bonuses and epic champions.